debate continues. Jim Acosta for us this morning. Thanks, John.
Well, the closing bell has signaled doom on Wall Street lately. To many people, it's meant disappearing 401ks and savings, and that is the sort of stuff that has you waking up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night. But many experts, and even the president, say our fixation on the markets may be misguided.
You know, the stock market is sort of like a tracking pole in politics. You know, it bobs up and down day to day. And if you spend all your time worrying about that, then you're probably going to get the long-term strategy wrong.
Our Carol Costello now live from Washington with more on how our Dow obsession could actually be undermining any chance of a recovery. It's like, talk it down, it might just go down.
You're skeptical of this, aren't you, John?
Well, I'm worried about it, to tell you the truth.
Well, everybody's worried about it because it is scary to watch the Dow, but many Americans, as you say, are glued to it to the point of unhealthy obsession.
The Dow has taken on a life of its own. It's up, it's down, it's tanked, and America can't take its eyes off its little wiggly line.
But it bothers me because that showed me how the economy is doing.
Concerns me more because of how everybody reacts to it.
I'm concerned. Definitely, I'm alarmed.
And why wouldn't they feel that way? The joke is their 401ks have become 201ks, and the falling Dow is all they hear about.
I hate to say it, but the second target might be 4,000 and maybe 400.
Some popping and dropping, largely dropping.
I wish I could hold your hand.
It's the kind of analysis that has talk radio buzzing.
The Dow Jones will make you feel like a victim.
Psychologist Dr. Joy Brown says her listeners have become obsessed with the Dow.
We've become penny. The Dow is falling. The Dow is falling. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the Dow is straight id. It's just uncivilized. That's what the Dow is. It doesn't mean anything.
Dr. Brown says you should ask yourself this. Did you become a multi-millionaire when the Dow soared to 14,000 in 2007? Brown says if you have a job now and you pay your mortgage, it's not likely the falling Dow will drive you to the poorhouse. But make no mistake, market analysts like Art Hogan of Jefferies & Company says the Dow is an important economic indicator. When it loses 23% of its value, we ought to pay attention, but not obsess.
Watching the Dow every day is not going to predict the fact that you may become part of that 8% that's not working or that you may lose your house. Watching the Dow is more of a reflection of what investors think about the earnings power of the companies that make up the Dow.
Hogan and other analysts say the erratically diving Dow was more an indication of how Wall Street feels about the president's plans to fix the economy. And traditionally, it has been an indication of how the economy will play out in the short term. And history tells us the Dow has always recovered.
The point here is to not allow your mood to be controlled by the ups and downs of the market. You can't control the Dow. Dr. Joy Brown says you'll feel better if you sit down and you come up with a personal plan that will protect you if the worst happens. That way you can take control. And it is important to keep in mind, she says, among Americans eligible for and willing to work, 92% still have jobs.
Carol, I was trying to be pretty zen about the whole thing as the Dow ticked down through 12 and 11 and 10 and 9 and then even 8. But when it cracked 7, it's 45% lower than it was a year ago. And sometimes you just think to yourself, holy, you know?
Oh, absolutely, especially if you're near retirement age, because those people are certainly going to lose out. But if you're younger and you have years to wait, because, you know, you invest in the stock market for the long term, not the short term, and you really have to keep that in mind and hope for the best of the economy, because sitting there and watching the line go up and down isn't going to help you because you can't control it. That's what Dr. Joy Brown says.
Fortunately for a lot of us, the long term is getting shorter. Carol Costello, thanks so much.
Sure.
Karen